I am an endangered scholar. It's just like being an endangered species, except instead of being tagged and released into the wild for observation, we are given university IDs and released into the world of academia. A couple of years ago, I went to New York City to attend a conference for endangered scholars from around the world. I arrived to Penn Station on the train and took an Uber. Trains always make me feel motion sick, and I didn't feel great. Above that, I got a talkative Uber driver. He had some kind of Middle Eastern accent, and since I also had an accent, he asked me where I'm from. I said, Russia. He said, oh, Russia, I like Putin. Very strong leader. This often happens to me with immigrant drivers. They praise Putin to kind of compliment me as a Russian. I wanted to ask him, where is he from? Quickly Google his country's leader and say, oh, thank you, I like your dictator too. I was sure he didn't appreciate his dictator's enemies falling out of high-rise buildings, or dying from food poisoning, or shooting themselves twice in the head. But I didn't feel like arguing with him. I checked in the Marriott hotel, which was paid by the organizers of the conference. I really needed a nap, but I didn't have time, so instead I took a shower with what I found in the bathroom, which was cucumber shampoo. Then I dressed and went to the conference smelling like a cucumber. Though I didn't feel cool as a cucumber. Actually, I felt a little bit paranoid. The conference I was attending was organized by the Scholar Rescue Fund, which was very thorough about security issues. Only instead of feeling me safer, all the security measures made me hyper aware of the danger. On my way, I kept looking if anybody was following me. And when approaching the address, which was not far from the Union, or from the United Nations in New York, I identified a couple of other pedestrians smelling like cucumbers. And I figured that the Scholar Rescue Fund put us all in the same Marriott hotel. I thought, we are such an easy target for spies. Secret agents from our countries just need to follow the trail of our cucumber scent. The conference brought together about 100 endangered scholars, mostly from the Middle East and Africa. There was also one other Russian at the conference, an attractive young woman, Natalia Romanova. At one point, our eyes met across the room and she smiled at me. And the old song's lyric popped into my head. That Russian girl is making eyes at me. I'm sure she's working for the KGB. And I decided to stay away from beautiful Romanova. As they say, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't there to get you. The information about the conference is kind of secretive because of the concerns about the participants, so I won't share much about it. I only will say that it was a huge success. Everybody especially praised the shrimps at the reception. After the reception, I walked back to the hotel and felt nauseous. And I instantly recalled Romanova's smile and thought, maybe I'm poisoned. I remembered how several years ago Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned by KGB in London. And though I'm not a defected KGB agent like Litvinenko, I'm just a college professor. But then again, I might be targeted because I left Russia. At the hotel bar, I was supposed to meet, I was meeting with this man called Aslan. I was doing research on his father, who had a fascinating life. After his father moved to the United States, the KGB suspected that he worked for the CIA and labeled him as enemy of the state. And as I was thinking what to do if I'm poisoned, Aslan told me how in 1985 somebody planted a bomb at his father's door in New Jersey and killed him. Aslan said, the FBI never found who killed my father. And I said, it might be the KGB. At that point, I felt a wave of nausea, ran toward the trash can at the bar, and threw up. And I remembered reading about how Litvinenko made himself vomit in order to empty his stomach, as they taught him at the KGB school. And I told myself, vomit like Litvinenko. I kept thinking, I'm too young to die. I wish I could say goodbye to my parents and tell them that I love them. And I wish I could say goodbye to my girlfriend. Actually, I wish I had a girlfriend. Then Aslan took me to the emergency room. I didn't want to sound paranoid to the doctor, and I just told her, I think I'm food poisoning. I've got food poisoning. And I noticed how my new friend gave me a funny look. The doctor examined me and said, the good news is that you don't have food poisoning. I said, is there a bad news? I still feel dizzy after vomiting. She said, you're not dizzy because of vomiting. You vomited because you are dizzy. Have you been diagnosed with vertigo before? I said, no. And she explained, vertigo is the problem with the sense of balance. Some head movements may trigger it and cause dizziness. I said, I came on a train earlier today and the train always makes me sick. She said, that might be it, you just need some rest. So it was after 3 a.m. when Aslan took me back to the hospital, to the hotel, and he asked me, how do you feel? Better, I said. And it may sound crazy, but I thought that I was poisoned by the KGB. I thought the same, he said. It felt like I was in a spy movie. I shook his hand and said, thank you for being there tonight for me. And as they say in spy movies, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And then I went to my hotel room, took a shower, and fell asleep, feeling cool as a cucumber.